Hey everyone, before we get to the charts, I put out a video about the AI sector over the weekend. Check out the link in the comments of this video if you haven't seen it. And tomorrow we're going to do a public live stream of what we do on a daily basis at the Chart Guys, but showing the pre-market prep and the market open and the analysis for that. It'll be on our YouTube channel. Check it out. Hey everyone, Charting Man Dan at the Chart Guys checking in on the markets with the bears coming out today for the first time in a few days, where we had a rejection to end last week from key resistance and a bit of bear follow through today. So we know this week is a key week for fundamentals. On Wednesday and Thursday, we have the Super Bowl of tech sector earnings. We've got Google, Meta, Amazon, Apple. We've got FOMC Wednesday. So pretty much Wednesday, Thursday, Friday is going to have some notable volatility. And it's going to tell us whether we're going to break weekly resistance or reject from it. So here on the S&P 500 futures chart, we've been watching this inverse head and shoulders for months, trying to shape up. And here we are testing resistance and rejecting initially. So again, there's only two ways that this plays out. We either break resistance with a bullish reaction to the FOMC, or we reject from it and tighten up into a lot of February, in my opinion. I guess it's possible, if we see bears really come out swinging to break support down here, but I would be surprised if we just headed down to break that level. I believe that the most likely scenario on a bear reaction would be tightening up on the weekly time frame for a good bit of February. But we had pretty much full bear control today, where after the initial morning open, we then saw just a 15-minute downtrend all day from there. The NASDAQ is a double top with its weekly resistance from last week into the daily consolidation. Again, we're still in daily uptrends. So the next thing that I'm watching for is what's the reaction to first hourly oversold conditions? Because the last time the NASDAQ saw hourly oversold conditions, our daily higher low was set. And so here we are heading towards hourly oversold conditions. I might have just said daily, I meant hourly. Here we are heading back to hourly oversold conditions. Can the bulls set another daily higher low off of that? That's going to be informative. There's a lot of lead bulls from last week where we're watching first hourly oversold conditions. NVDA, Meta, Tesla, all these names are on bounce watch for hourly oversold if we have another red day tomorrow. It wasn't a fear kind of day today because we didn't have all major sectors hitting the lows at the same time, but it was clearly tech sector, NASDAQ related weakness as the NASDAQ led the way down and profit taking before these earnings and the FOMC, in my opinion. So we're watching for hourly oversold conditions. Can the bulls form another daily higher low to keep the daily uptrend going or not? The dollar is trying to bounce. The dollar hit the highest level in 4 days today. Still has a lot of work to do to prove anything as a bull. We need a bounce. We need a daily trend change, but it's just a little bit of a shift. We've been watching this 4-hour falling wedge, and we broke resistance with zero follow through last week, but now we're getting a bit more follow through. So still plenty of resistance levels to be watching here, but the start of a shift attempt. SMH, daily consolidation underway. Short-term support is 230.28. So the daily uptrend is more at risk of being lost here on SMH than on other names just because it's close nearby. And this has to do with the INTC bearish earnings reaction last week that created that little pullback to establish that daily support level. But SMH already broke weekly resistance, which is a big difference here. And there's a lot of space for a weekly higher low. And we can say that if SMH were to consolidate on the weekly, but hold these EMA supports here, then that would keep it strong overall. And NVDA, a lead bear today, a lead bull last week. So daily consolidation. Support is 185.80. And again, just a question of, is weekly consolidation shaping up or not? NVDA is on the list to watch for first hourly oversold conditions. We got right close to it at the end of the day. So weakness tomorrow, I'll be keeping an eye out for an hourly oversold bounce. Again, just because it's coming from a name that has been so strong last week. Tesla bears with the win today after a huge day, Thursday and Friday for the Tesla bulls after earnings. So climax top, volume climax. Highest volume day. That's not what I want to draw. Highest volume day we've seen in a long time. And high of that day was tested today, first thing. Nice and clear, where we had a rejection first thing, 5-minute oversold conditions, very significant bounce, Nice 5-minute oversold bounce to the tune of 4%. And then we had a beautiful equilibrium. The equilibrium broke bear to a lot of follow through. So we're watching for first hourly oversold conditions as a back burner trade looking for a bounce. We're going to be scouting a daily high or low, anything above 138, tons of space for it to form. Bigger picture, we know we have to confirm a weekly trend change if this is going to be a long-term bottom. So if you missed this move, or if you got this move and sold and want to reload, you're scouting a weekly high or low. And that may take a couple of weeks to form. I'm going to put out a trade review on this Tesla bottom from Jungle Funk Joey, who outlined his trade game plan and then outlined his entries and exits on this trade over the last few weeks. Healthcare, breaking this potential falling wedge bearish. This is a check mark for the bears today. They want to see more volume. It's trying to increase in volume a bit here, but if we see another red day tomorrow, it's going to be a convincing bear break from this grind down pattern, and it will be the healthcare sector adding some downward pressure to the broader market because these grind down days have not been doing much for the bears, but that may change if we get some follow through now. Monthly consolidation is underway after the double top at the all-time high on the healthcare sector, but daily downtrend very clear with a lower high as a result of every little bounce. So that's our guide. How long does that pattern remain intact? We'll see. Financial sector started daily consolidation. We got a lot of space for a higher low compared to 34.56. This is a name that the bears definitely want to see weaken a lot more than this. If we are going to see the bears take back over in the markets, we did break to the highest level in many months, but couldn't close over that 36.26 level. So keeping an eye on it. And again, we could draw an uptrending resistance line where the bull break just lacks follow through here. But the burden's still on the bears on the financial sector for me. And again, the bears have to prove to me that the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 are not just shaping up a healthy hourly higher low. Or I should say a healthy daily higher low. IWM, bull break last week, also lacking follow through. Daily higher low support is 183.87 to try and keep control of the uptrend. Weekly saw a bull break at this point in time. It's a weekly bull break that is lacking follow through. Again, it's just a question of, are we about to shape up weekly consolidation in the markets or not? XBI, double top Thursday and Friday at $90 into daily consolidation. Anything above 84.16 is a daily high or low. So we're watching. If we have another red day tomorrow, the biotech sector will then be watching for the potential of a head and shoulders. MARA. So MARA has been, these are the crypto stocks, has been showing us relative weakness ever since Thursday. We're now down over 20% from the high of Thursday. And I have been trading these names. Again, pretty much my entire month is made up of trading Riot and MARA in both directions. And so today, Riot faked me out in the sense that I thought it was a very strong bull break. And I didn't have a position on the morning, but I saw this move and this volume and thought, wow, we just broke our triple top at 663, our quadruple top. That's a very notable bull break, and it's showing us way more strength than Bitcoin and QQQ. So I'm interested in a 5-minute high or low. Then I saw the NASDAQ roll over into a new low of the day, and I saw over a 50% retracement. And I then said, well, that kind of volume and this kind of reaction to that resistance break looks like a blow off top to me now. I'm scouting a bearish entry next bounce. And I went back and forth a little bit. Well, it was a lead bull. Do I want to short it? But the more we pulled back, the more it looked like a climax top. And so from there, I just shorted a bunch in here looking for the 15-minute lower high. And it was a 15-minute bear flag on Riot, but I was using QQQ. I was watching QQQ and saying, all right, QQQ 15-minute bounce, hitting EMA 12. So I'm scouting for a 15-minute lower high in QQQ and a 15-minute lower high in Riot. And as soon as QQQ started testing 15-minute EMA 12, I started entering Riot short. And I was doing a little bit of flipping. I would buy half 631, a second half 634, exit half at 631, rebuy at 633, exit half 629, and I have a swing runner position because my goal for this position will be looking to hold until Bitcoin hits first 4-hour oversold conditions. We have not hit 4-hour oversold conditions since the massive bull move took place. So that's something I'm watching for as a profit-taking target for a Riot short. Riot is still in a daily uptrend. We would have to break 570 to lose those daily higher lows. And again, it's just this name coming off the low and the crypto names going 100% plus, but knowing that we have to confirm weekly trend changes for longer term bottoms to be set. And so an aggressive swing trading bear is looking for the weekly consolidation on Tesla and on Riot and MARA and these names that have been bouncing over the last month. And they have a lot of space for an hourly lower high to be the result of the next bounce. I would be shorting MARA over Riot because of that relative weakness, but Fidelity does not have shares for MARA over the last week, and there's plenty of shares to short Riot. Shout out to uranium sector, Red Devil and Jungle Funk putting out their weekly videos still, and the uranium sector clearly standing out stronger. Broke the high of Friday. We are still watching for CCJ to potentially give us a monthly lower high. Keep an eye on this monthly pattern for CCJ. It's been forming for a year at this point. It's going to break this year, and we're going to look for follow through on that break. Make sure and check out our YouTube channel for the uranium channel playlist if you're interested in that sector, both fundamentals and technicals. Gold still holding daily EMA 12, watching to see if the dollar bounces for real. Weekly stair-step pattern the last 9 candles. We know weekly consolidation is inevitable. I would be shorting it right now if I didn't already make an attempt and stop out back here, attempting to short it back there. But I am still in the silver short. Silver's still just trading sideways. Is it going to roll over on a dollar bounce or not? FOMC is going to dictate. And the miners daily consolidation continues. Uptrend support 31.21 on GDX. Just a question of, do we hold the support and keep the uptrend going on a bullish reaction to FOMC? Is it a head and shoulders? But the metals are very inverse to the dollar. I almost care, if I'm trading the metals, I almost care more about the dollar than the metals. Oil bears, triple top following through, losing daily supports. So triple top last week at 82.66, and now weekly consolidation underway. Anything above 72.74 is a weekly high or low, but this is a trend change on the weekly with no follow through, which means potentially a longer term lower high. But with that weakness in oil, the energy sector is pulling back notably from a double top at the all-time high. Almost broke it on Thursday, and now the daily uptrend is at risk of being lost after a quick 4% pullback, almost a 5% pullback in the last 2 days. And natural gas still very weak, still in free fall. It's a falling knife. RSI levels are not beat up enough to the point where we think a bounce is imminent. I am watching a falling wedge on the 4-hour. I don't have much confidence in it. Number one, because it's natural gas. And number two, because this 4-hour falling wedge is not aligned with a longer term time frame, higher low being the most likely scenario. If I'm scouting a daily higher low in natural gas and I'm watching a 4-hour falling wedge, I have confidence. But we're in a downtrend on all time frames. So I don't have confidence, but I'm keeping an eye on it just as a visual guide. We will bounce eventually on the weekly time frame for natural gas. You don't have to nail the bottom for it to be a worthwhile trade. Just perfect example today. I did not nail the top on Riot at all. I had a stop out. I was a little too aggressive shorting QQQ this morning. Stop out for a tiny loss. And then after the bears proved something to me later in the morning, then I just reloaded all my shorts after the proof. You can wait for the proof. And if the move gets some follow through, it's still plenty worthwhile. This was a day maker for me, shorting Riot after missing. You might think, oh my, I missed the move. I can't believe it. I'm done. I'm closing out. Done for the day. Nope. I missed the move. I'm scouting the lower high. So same thing with natural gas. Don't have to nail the bottom. You can see signs that the bulls are proving something, and then look to get in, as we will be looking for a bounce to a weekly lower high. When the bottom is set, I'm going to be looking for a bounce of 30%. So if you miss the first 5-10%, it's not the end of the trade. You just have to wait to establish a good risk-reward scenario to be looking for that entry. Thanks for tuning in. Do good things, and we will see you soon. So, Adventure Time, we are still in Utah, heading to Bryce Canyon National Park, hanging out in some caves and in some canyons in the meantime, and an otherworldly place. So, in Bryce Canyon, it's known for all these, I think they call them hoodoos, but it looks like those sand castles you make when you put the wet sand in your hand at the beach and you dribble to make those really cool shapes. And these are just eroded kinds of rock from rain and time and wind. They create some really cool patterns and some nice colors and landscapes. Sand castles bigger than you are. Bristlecone pines. These are the oldest trees in the world. A lot of people think that redwoods are the oldest trees in the world, but it's actually bristlecone pines. And there are bristlecone pine trees that were alive 2,000 years ago. I think the oldest one was around when Troy was happening, something absurd. But there are trees that were around when Jesus was doing his thing. That's a pretty cool looking, I mean, it just looks like a castle. Someone built a castle out of big rock. And it's wind that makes these holes and how they erode. Nice little looking hole. Some morning mist making things nice and eerie. And I ended up camping at a spot. There was a fire that ran through here. So this is where I was camping. And to have that mist going on, and there were these cows in some national parks and national lands, they have agreements with ranchers that allow for grazing and things like that. So there was this little herd of cows where I was camping off in the mist, and it was this eerie but very cool spot. This was the overlook of right where I was camping. The colors were insane. Again, the camera doesn't do a great job here, but the purples and orange and green and gray, pretty much a rainbow in the rock. And that's about that. Next, we're going down to Las Vegas. And there's actually some decent nature spots outside of Las Vegas. Lake Mead, and there's a mountain range, I forget what it's called. But I went to Las Vegas. I had a couple friends there, and he was a pro, quote-unquote, pro poker player at the time, and I've been playing poker since high school. Made a video because there are huge amounts of correlation between trading and playing poker. So that's on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. But went and lived in Vegas for about a month on this road trip, just bouncing around between camping and crashing on my friend's couch. And we'll get to that next time. See you then.